Hi, everyone. I'm Logan Baldwin, the Executive Director of Klamath Film. And with me, I have Zen Stec and Lucas Adelman, co-directors of Scarecrow. First of all, you guys are both students. Is that how you? Oh, no, you said you're a student and you're not. Zen is a student and Lucas is not,
Yes,
right?
yeah,
Correct.
Lucas is like a honorary student basically. He helps out with a lot of different projects around campus. So and he's basically a student, but just not in the school program.
You'll see me around. I take no classes.
Got it. Okay. So how did you get involved with that then? And then also, how did you guys meet?
Mhm.
Well, we met. I was switched to the digital cinema major at SOU, and I didn't know anybody, so I went to the film club meeting, and that's how I met Lucas. I was like, I gotta meet someone here. Like, I really want to make something. Like, there's a horror short contest going on for the club. And so I struck up a conversation with Lucas, and then we just clicked. And yeah, and then that's how we just started working together.
Yeah, at the beginning of the term, at the beginning of the fall term for each year in the film program, the film club holds this kind of, it's like a get together. It's a way for everyone to get to know each other really quickly, where they have a bunch of people. They assign like four people in a group, or they could be as big as you want or as small as you want. And they just have a bunch of people making horror shorts within the span of a month. And the previous year, I had made the Audience Choice Award winning. I didn't win the jury prize, but they showed it. The reason I was there in the film club, even though I wasn't actually attending school at that time, was because they called me in because they were showing my short and they wanted me to talk after it. Give people like some tips on how to, write and edit a short really quickly because, a lot of these people were coming in and doing this for the first time. And so, Zen saw my short after film club. After that session ended, he reached out to me and basically pitched me like, what if we made our own version of Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Yeah, I had like some ideas during this like process, like I guess writing process. My grandpa, he lives out in somewhere in the valley, in the Road Valley, like a desolate place, and he was moving out of there, and I was helping move stuff, and I was like had this horror short in mind. I just like watched Texas Chainsaw, and I was like, I really like just everything like there's very serene when I'm out here. And I like was trying to think of like some idea because like the horror short thing was going on, and I got this idea of like doing something with the scarecrow. And that's how I came up with this like idea that someone, takes this Craigslist job for just like an odd job, just pick up some money, and it just kind of turns into what you guys just saw and all that.
Totally, totally. So, what were so this was for the club and not for an assignment. What were the parameters of this of this festival? Was it just like horror and that's it? Go wild or what?
It was like
Uh,
horror slash thriller, and it had to be under 5 minutes.
Great,
yeah,
I
great.
think we
yeah,
got to like 4:57.
Yeah.
yeah, and I think they added like different like bonus, like if you put I don't know, like
Like a
candy corn,
jack-o'-lantern
like a
in it, I think.
like a candy corn in like the frame, but we didn't do that. We just were like,
Yeah.
we're just gonna make this like horror short and just like kind of see how it turns out and just like how it just puts together.
Yeah.
Totally, totally. Did you guys get an award for this one or for just for the one? Which one? What award?
Oh, we
Uh,
got audience choice and jury prize. And was there some other like tertiary award that we got for it? I'm not sure.
we got well audience choice and best picture, so we
Right.
beat out forget how many other films. I think there's like maybe
Like four, I think,
six
others.
or something, four to six films in total. But yeah, we won audience choice and best picture.
That's
Yeah.
great. That's high praise. And honestly, I'm not surprised either because it's a really cool short film. So I'm
Thank you.
glad y'all
Thank you.
got that. That's good. So how long have you guys been making movies then separately?
Um, Personally, I've been making little videos with my littlest pet shop since I was like 7 years old. But in high school, I was doing a lot of 3D animation and kind of got into like photography and filmmaking through like having to film like live action plates to then composite 3D animations onto. And then I was like, oh, I love photography and videography. That's kind of how I found it. And then did that for a couple of years. And then I actually decided to go to film school because I don't know, I wanted to get deeper into it.
No, sick. Yeah.
Like I was saying, I was going to SU and I switched to the digital cinema major just because I had a lot of interest in like film and everything. And so I was kind of blind. Like I haven't really made any like short films or like any like films. I just had like grew up really love just watching all different kinds of movies my parents would show me. And I always just kind of had this like passion and of like what grows, but you know, like in the words of behind the camera and even like in front of the camera acting. And I did some acting too when I was younger, like through my years, but the passion of filmmaking was still there. So that's what kind of drove me to, switch my major. And then yeah, Scarecrow, I guess, is like my first like real like short film I made. So
Cool. 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 So what made you guys want to do a dialogue free film specifically?
I think like writing it, I was just like, we don't have a whole lot of time. And I also was like new to the program. And after I made Scarecrow, I like took like screenwriting classes like after that. So I was like really like understanding everything that goes into screenwriting and all that. But I think for that one, I was just like, how can we shoot this in like a limited amount of time, but
Totally.
still put in those elements of fear into it? Because like I feel like sometimes you get in like, well, like learning from screenwriting, you can kind of get in this like too much dialogue, too much exposition. And I think like for Scarecrow, for me, it's just like I just want everything to be visual. And I communicated that with Lucas, who was working behind the camera, of how to like we did this like the senses that he's going through of like walking through this barn and kind of experiencing all these different things going on.
Nope.
Yeah, I feel like oh, sorry. The whole conceit of it, because we were watching, because again, Zen told me we met at we got pizza and he was like, you need to watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre tonight and we need to really get this whole thing figured out. And like the best parts of Texas Chainsaw Massacre are just when people are like walking around and checking out their environment and it's just this whole terrifying mise-en-scene that would probably be spoiled with um chatter. And so also we were on a limited time frame, and so we didn't really have time to like nail down any dialogue or any of that. That was a part of it. So we just figured like keep this as simple as possible and only think about visual storytelling just to purify it. I don't know.
Totally. And that's a great exercise for show don't tell too, because
Yeah, yeah.
we're all about telling you what's going on without it's like you're supposed to be scared now. But I'm saying that, everything around me is so scary. No, it's not. I can see.
No.
You're not prove it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys really got to have a great exercise in that, and that's awesome.
Hmm.
So how did you
Um,
oh go ahead.
or oh no, no, go ahead. You're all
No,
good.
I was gonna change the subject. You got something to add?
I think I was just gonna add like just like the writing process. I think like when just like having it be limited, I think it was like kind of cool because there's like I have like different like friends who don't like speak English that well that are like Latino, but they were able to like there's not like any real dialogue, and I think the only like real thing is like there's like the little checklist that has different things, but so yeah, they were able to like kind of like feel like the same sense of fear. And I think I took that as like a learning in like, like you're saying, like show, not tell, and just like really just sense, like put the senses of like a human into like what you're seeing and feeling in that. So,
Totally. Breaking down the language barriers, am I right?
mhm.
I mean, I guess there's the notebook paper. So
Yeah, the notepad. It's just
basically a language
But
fence,
yeah,
but not a language barrier. One you
yeah.
probably jump over pretty easily.
yeah.
Good. Um, so how did you two collaborate on this project? Did you each bring your own strengths? How did you? Yeah, what was the division of uh, labor like?
I would say we work really well together because Zen is all of the anxiety. We've made like three shorts together, and the main driver of all of the characters is like a kind of like anxiety and like an over awareness. And I feel like Zen is very good at like clarifying like an emotion of what a scene should be. And so like what exactly is scary about a certain moment. And so then I can go in there with my photography and videography background and kind of know like what how everything should be framed to kind of emphasize that feeling that he's going for. And so he kind of I and correct me if I'm wrong, Zen, but it kind of felt like I was being an emotional translator for everything you were bringing.
Yeah, I like really felt like I wanted to work with Lucas because I hadn't really like shot any like films or anything like that before, and Lucas had that background and had a lot of like uh technical. Hold on, why my cat just jumped up on my laptop? Anyways, so I knew that Lucas had a lot of like background in working with like films and like working with cameras. So that's why I wanted to work with him, because I knew he could nail all the technical aspects that I wanted to. Because I was like, if I shoot this by myself, I might get across the idea, but like the visuals, like I was saying, are really important. And like his cinematography skills are really just really good. And I think that really added on to that. So working with
Yeah,
that, and then just like communicating what I want, like the feelings and like the tone for each scene and what we're looking at, I think really translated well working
totally.
together.
Yeah, we shot in blocks, and so we would basically have like a we would come up with a game plan where we would meet. I have these lined yellow notepads that I bring everywhere I go, and we basically went like moment by moment and figured out like the best way to like visually communicate each idea in almost like a graphic novel like clarity of like this shot is this moment, this shot is this moment. Like I feel like you could almost, if you took each frame of each shot, you could basically turn this whole thing into a graphic novel because it's so we tried to make it as like clear and simple as possible without overcomplicating it.
Yeah.
I
I
love
don't know. The post-production process too was a whole thing because we shot it all in like the first 2 weeks, and then we had 2 more weeks to assemble the whole thing. And we would basically meet at the school's digital media center and just like go through sound effects that we liked and try to come up with like a sound design for the whole ambiance. Zen recorded some stuff on site. And we also used a lot of the audio that we just recorded in camera, which with some noise reduction was usable enough to actually fill out most of what we already had, and we just enhanced it with some light wind, some I think footsteps, and then some of those scary sound effects that we found some very odd dog sounds. Some were people imitating dogs.
Yeah.
Some it was very strange, but we found some good candidates and narrowed it down through like a whole like week and a half process where we just sat down and nailed all the details.
Yeah, that's great. You actually just went ahead over my next question, which was talking about the sound design because I thought it was really great and I wanted to ask you about it. But you pretty much covered it, so that's awesome. And I didn't even notice that it was like people pretending to be dogs. So that's great. That's awesome.
There
Is it
was
obvious
some
to you guys when you go back to hear it?
it sorry, what?
Is it obvious to you guys that it's people pretending to be dogs when you go back?
I'm not sure what we ended up using, but it's we mess with the pitch a lot, and so
Yeah.
kind of just sounds like, even if it does sound like a person pretending to be a dog, I feel like that's appropriate
Totally.
for what we're going for.
Yeah, it's even
I don't
more
know.
spooky, like something's off, you know,
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
Um, what about that scarecrow prop? I was curious about because I thought that like the teeth and the skull looked really, really good and like realistic and decayed and stuff. What did you guys use for that? Did you buy something at Party City or did you have somebody make it? What was that prop?
We got it
Uh,
from Goodwill. I think we got two masks. One was from Goodwill, one was from not Party City, Spirit Halloween.
Right. Yeah.
And so I think we decided to go with the Goodwill mask because it looked a little the actual, what is it called? The actual like material that the scarecrow is wrapped in looked a little more realistic than what the Spirit Halloween option was. And then we had our great makeup technician, Caspian Carter, who also did the effects for Zen in the burlap at the end. They went over the mask with like a bit more like red paint or something to make it look a bit more fresh, I'd
Yeah.
say.
The teeth, was that a part of the mask?
That was already
yeah, yeah, the
as
teeth were
hell.
already there. Yeah,
Cool. It
yeah,
looks good. That's all I mean to say. It looks really, really good.
It was in the
yeah,
backseat of my
yeah.
car for
I,
weeks
I,
after we shot it.
yeah, I think I like use of shadows too, because I think like right before that, and also like going back to like the sound design, I think like adding in like the like flies and stuff, and like kind of making
Yeah.
sure that you're getting this feeling like what like this confrontation, like something is off, and obviously that the scarecrow whatever is there is like a dead body,
Yeah.
like this rotting corpse. So yeah,
And
using like the shadows to kind of like have
yeah.
that like reveal and then like the quick reveal where like snapshots to, his face and everything.
We
I
tried
thought
to
that was
avoid showing it for too long because if you look at it for more than like 30 frames, it kind of falls apart. But
yeah.
it ended up kind of working out in the way that we shot it and the way that the scene felt like it should be paced. So
Yeah,
it
I think you killed it because, like you said, you showed it for just long enough that it looks really, really great.
thank you.
It does. Um, so one thing I like to ask everybody is about some of their challenges that they faced during production and how they overcame them.
Sure.
Um, I think some of like the challenges was just like I mean it was like a small crew. It was like me and Lucas, and then we had Knives, and
Yeah,
then Caspian was there on like the last day, but mainly, yeah, it's just a really small, tight, just knit crew, and that's why I also like casted myself in it because I was like, I don't know, like how I'm gonna find like an actor in a certain time, and then I would have to like drive all the way out there,
yeah,
and I have like acting background, and if I'm like, if I can communicate with Lucas how I want everything to look and feel and just like placed then I can, as like, director of like knowing what I want the actor to kind of move and look like, I can just like do that on my end and then just kind of like look back at footage and just kind of like, take it next scene and switch it up more to how I like it.
Totally.
I would say towards the end of the short, the sun is setting. We were chasing the sun for the entire last day. We basically shot this whole thing in chronological order. And
Yeah.
so the last day, we had our makeup person, Caspian, coming in to do the makeup, and we had to do everything at that barn, at the second barn, and then everything with Zen, like walking down that incline and going into the scarecrow. We probably had about 2 hours to do all that and we were shooting it on one of my stabilization gimbals that we were using. And so every single time I had to change lenses, it would take like 10, 15 minutes to rebalance it. And so we just decided, I think all of that is just using a single, like, I were using my 16 millimeter lens at the
Yeah.
time. We just were like, we have to simplify. It kind of helped actually. A lot of the issues I will say that came up were actually really helpful constraints that kind of, that's where creativity comes from. It's like you have 1 month to make this, so you can't overthink it. You have 2 hours to shoot this, so you need you need rules to follow.
Absolutely. Got to act fast. I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then like the whole the shouts out to like our whole team, because like that last shot, I knew it had to be like that's like the big final shot of like the guy, and he's turns into the scarecrow. So we had to like make that right. I was originally going to like actually like try to like crucify like myself and like build like a like an actual scarecrow thing, and like get like a harness or something
We
and
consider
strap.
that.
But I was like, we're like student filmmakers working on like a micro budget. We don't have time for that, and I don't like safety reasons. So at the end, yeah, we used that like really like creepy tree that was there. It was like the only dead one out in the field. And then we just kind of tied myself around that and got that shot. I think it was like a one take, the last shot, because we're just running out of time.
Yeah, the
And I
sun had
knew.
already set, so I did some color. The reason that it looks like sunset is because I had to like color grade it to look like that. It was basically like stars were coming up at the time, but we yeah, that was real tight. Yeah, we just made it. Um yeah. What else? You know what wasn't a challenge was that location though, because we didn't know there was zero production design on it. There were like
Oh yeah.
knives and nails on the floor and buzz saws with like stains on them, and that deer head was just there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. I love
Uh,
it.
No, yeah, I was when I was recording like the sounds, just like to get those sounds, Lucas had to go to work and I was there by myself. And I felt like I was really in the movie because I was just like I'm like hearing all this crazy like noise just like in that one shed. It was like really windy outside, and it was just like really just like giving me the creeps. And I think that also just like inspired like the sound design too. Like, okay, this is like what I was hearing on location and all that. So that was really good. And then also they're not here, but the people that did the score, my friends Christian LaPerry and Brendan LaPerry, they definitely went through like some like obstacles, because I was just like communicating and showing them different music. Like, I showed like the Texas Chainsaw score, some other horror scores, and uh different like feelings like kind of rustic vibes, but also give like this kind of like serene, like excluded kind of vibe. And they were able to like translate that because they have like music production skills, and I think they really like put like the cherry on top of everything.
Killed it.
So yeah, I know that they went through some like challenges of really trying to find like the right sound, but they did it, and I'm really happy with
Yeah,
it.
absolutely nailed it. And it's super important too because there is no dialogue and that's all you've got.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, most definitely.
They absolutely nailed it.
Hmm.
So what's next for you guys? You've made three already. Are you making more?
I think I made like one like it was another like this the other short we did. I think we filmed it maybe like a couple months after
Yeah.
Scarecrow. But that was like an assignment, and that one basically was just like I was in it again because I was like I need to get this assignment graded or else I'm gonna fail the class. And it's just like me running through the school, and I'm like held up for running into different obstacles, and I'm trying to get to my final. But
Yeah.
the project I'm currently working on, it's not for school, but it's definitely like similar to Scarecrow and like the horror vibe and anxiety. And I'm writing that, getting some drafts down for it. But I think it could be really cool. And like the running title I have for it right now is called Eyes Beyond. But yeah, I think that one, all my previous like from working in the school and working on Scarecrow and just like working on other film productions since then, I like feel like I have like a good grasp of everything and like how to communicate. And like I just want to take everything that like I felt like I could have been better and just like push it to be better and just keep pushing myself to be the best filmmaker I can possibly be.
Totally.
Lucas, what's next for you?
I'm yeah, I'm kind of I love shooting other people's shorts, and so I got like a couple of those lined up, couple of like fashion photography projects lined up, and I'm kind of starting pre-production for this short about like a pizza delivery guy who has like an identity crisis and like um kind of it's about like dissociation and like different types of dissociation, and it's very broad. It's called Sigma, and I'm probably going to shoot that like in the next month. And I bought like a dash cam for my car because I want to, if anyone has seen Under the Skin, I want to shoot it like that, where you're like in the delivery vehicle and you're in this guy's car and it's real psychedelic. I don't know. I like having fun.
We're gonna see. So obviously, you're here at the festival now. Are we gonna see you again in the future?
I hope so.
Oh yeah, I really feel like for Eyes Beyond, if I'm able to like really because I like again like I feel like I have that same sense of feeling about how I want everything to look and feel for Scarecrow, and I feel like this one, will have like a dialogue and just like kind of building upon my strengths and then building my weaknesses up too. That I think it could be really cool and special. So I hope to be back next year to show that one for you guys.
Totally.
Fantastic. Well, we're about out of time here. Do you guys have any final words before we sign off?
I'd just like to thank, like everybody, like all my peers here. I think it's really important that filmmakers like me, growing up, I just love going to the movies and just like watching all different kinds of films. And I think I speak along with like everybody else that's probably here that seeing your film on like the big screen is just like something just like crazy for me. And I'm just like really proud that, we have people around like the valley and all different like from Oregon to everywhere that we're all just like trying to pursue filmmaking and show people, just great things and what, we can make all together.
Fantastic.
Couldn't have said it better.
Good deal. All right. Well, thank you, Zen and Lucas, for submitting your film to the Klamath Independent Film Festival. Scarecrow will be available on Eventive for a limited time as a part of our online showcase.
Yeah.
Thank you,
We'll see you
guys.
at the movies.
Thank you, guys.